Get 30 to 1.
Hello, Mila.
I mean, we just really popped right in, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
you know,
this is the transition.
That's what a superstar comedian would do.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, Mila.
What's happening? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good. This is Kalish and Herm.
Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Mila, you are
right.
we're right. Herm,
This is the transition.
I'm also one of the greatest stage setters of all time, Herm. So I will set this
Seems
stage.
like you're not really putting in a page break here.
There's no page break needed. Mila, you are in the NFT game. You have a significant project with Stoner Cats. Let's go with question number one. When you are such a big superstar like you, not like us schlubs, when you are an iconic global superstar.
This is one. How do I, guys?
Let's pick that up, Mila. Just pick that up live.
I'm sure it's
spam
like,
from Florida.
It's not spam from Florida.
I swear to you.
No, Mila plays it humble, guys. You know who that was? That was Disney offering her $100 million contract for 3 films. This is who Mila is.
Man.
Gary,
Mila,
I miss you. Yes.
I miss you too.
You were saying nice things about me. Continue.
I will. When you're a global icon.
Yes.
Right? And
yes,
one of the most diverse, like multi-dimensional talents.
God, I
laughing,
do this all the time.
Herm, I don't know if you've seen Black Swan or have listened to Family Guy or have seen Ted. Mila, in my opinion, no bull. Mila has one of the biggest ranges in all of Hollywood. Why are you laughing, Mila?
Are you upset that he brought up Ted?
No, you know what? I like Ted.
Sorry, go back.
Ted is a smash hit.
No, I like Ted. I love Ted.
Yeah, no, smash.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going, Gary. Go back.
The mom's thing. I've watched like all of like this is one of the most talented superstars in Hollywood. When you go into NFT land where like characters like Kalish and I are hanging around, like, what does somebody from your perch have to think about entering this space? Because, for example, we are now in the mature state of the NFT space. You were an incredibly early mover for somebody that did have your level of platform. Obviously, a lot of other people with big platforms have now considered and have come in. Most have come in bull. You came in real. But what's interesting is because so many have come in bull, I see a lot of A-list celebrities crippled to launch an NFT project right now. That's most of the information. Whereas 9 months ago, it was like, Gary, tell me how to do this. Now it's like, I'm scared to do this. I shouldn't do this, right? And I'm like, why? They're like, well, I don't want to do a rug pull. I'm like, well, then don't.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know how much time you have. So I don't have social media, right? So I want to backtrack all of this to say, it's not like I'm born and bred on Web 2. I don't do socials. It is not who I am. It's just not what
You were too famous when Web 2 popped off.
I think I don't know what happened. Honestly, I
know what happened. You were too famous when it popped off.
No, I don't think so. Cause secretly I procure, you know what I mean? Like I'm all up in it. I just don't do it under my name. So it's not like I'm like,
so you're saying you're more nosy, but not a contributor.
Yes, exactly. I'm super nosy. Like that's how I get.
And not a contributor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when all this happened with Stoner Cats, what happened was we sold Stoner Cats. The money that we were given to make an episode, we physically couldn't. I was like, we're not just broke. We're going to end up paying out of pocket. We couldn't do it.
This is classic Hollywood, right? Because you guys think everything costs a fortune to make. Whereas I would have thought I could make 93 episodes. No, I mean, it's not a bad thing. Animation is expensive, by the way.
Animation is really expensive. I think that people sometimes lose sight of the cost of animation a minute.
That's fair. To make it at a level that, like, for me, if I made like a bullshitty animation thing by like, you're stuck because you know the standard of the day in and day out of your last 30 years. So that's a subconscious reality that makes it challenging.
Yes, and ours was all hand drawn by Pixar animators. So everything just took time. Everything was just way more. It's very specific. It's very special.
It's high quality, like the shopping that the mayor of Paris did. The mayor of Paris, by the way, is Kalish. There's a very famous meme photo of him having tons of bags the only time you went clothes shopping. And
yes,
I still
this
think
is
it's
like Hermes of Paris. Yes, exactly. This is when you went to Paris and you were like, I need that Kelly bag. Stoner Cats is the Kelly bag of animation. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. By the way,
Don't
I went
quote me on
to
that. This is where I'm going to get my ass kicked for saying it. Yeah.
St. Bart's, I guess, is part of my territory as the mayor of France. I went there and it's technically part of the territory. I just want everybody to know that.
How was it? Was it lovely?
It was so nice. Okay, especially in February. I'm from Boston, so it's not like it's nice up here.
Oh, so you loved Ted. You loved Ted. Everything about Ted you loved.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yes.
100%. My favorite scene is when they're throwing apples off the roof at the runners.
Wait, do you know my thing about living in Boston? So I was there for 3 months, I think it was, whatever the time was.
Sorry about that.
Who, me?
I hate Boston with all my heart.
Oh, okay, wait. So Boston is so violent. Yo,
Yeah.
I have never
They're bad. Say more bad things.
No, I love Boston. Hold on a second.
Unattractive, violent.
No, Gary.
Entitled. You know what, Boston fans?
I'm going to go to Boston and people are going to be like, Mila. You're going to go to Boston and be like, F Gary.
Well,
no, I'm not doing this.
Because they're entitled. They all think they won championships.
Mila, you were saying
they think they.
I love Boston. I actually had the best time living in Boston was my point. But I saw so many fights, just street fights. Like
I do respect that about Boston. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
part
the
of Boston.
Irish bar fighting culture is strong in Boston.
What's insane is I loved Boston up until they won every championship and every under 30-year-old
every championship. They didn't win every championship.
Really? Let me educate you, Mila Kunis. While you were being the greatest global superstar, the Bruins, Red Sox, Patriots, and Celtics all won a championship.
Not in 1 year.
Almost 1 year, by the way. 3.
They can hate LA for the same thing. LA's been crushing it.
No, the Kings suck. They got one slipped in there. Like, yes, LA's been hot, but at least LA has Boston had character for not winning. LA's a foolish.
But that's the same for Chicago. You can say the same for the Bears and the Cubs that, they have character for not winning. And everybody in Chicago be like, character. Like, all they want to do is win. And then all of a sudden the Cubs won and people are like, oh, that sucks. And you're like, what?
This is all based on sports envy. You were absolutely right.
Yes, that's because you and your little Jets. I'm sorry.
Right. That's right. You've got me pegged. By the way, I once took Mila to a Jets game with me, Mila, Ashton.
Oh God, I remember. This is a long time ago.
That was the best. That was early in your guys' relationship, right?
That was 10 years ago.
That's insane.
Easily 10 years ago.
The best part of Stoner Cats was because you didn't have social media, everyone just bashed Ashton. That was my favorite part by far.
You know, my first husband, to this day, everyone's like, so tell me about Stoner Cats. You know what? Here, I'll go on a rant for you.
Go ahead.
So I very much did Stoner Cats. Okay, Lisa and I did this. Ashton's like,
Lisa's amazing, by the way. You should tell the world about Lisa.
Lisa Sturbacop's my everything. She's like my Ray Donovan in life. And so she kind of just like, whatever dumb idea I have, I'm like, Lisa, bless her heart. She's like, oh God. But so we dove into NFTs, built out our company, did the whole thing. Ashton was like, you do you, I'll help you. If you need to make a phone call, I'll tell you, I'll point you in the right direction. And of course I used his voice because he's free and lives in the house. So cut to Stoner Cats comes out. We'll be standing next to each other. I'm wearing a Stoner Cat sweater. Okay. I'm wearing the merch. People walk straight to him and are like, so tell me about Stoner Cats. And he's like, no, I don't do anything. It's my wife. And they're like,
you know what that is?
And that's what I get.
I hate that.
All this time in this Web3 NFT.
It's not just Web3. It's society. I mean, if anybody,
it is societal. But this one, I am wearing the stupid merch. Like I literally have Stoner Cats.
I want the merch.
It's coming out. This was like, we just did it for our own team. But anyways, but the truth is, Ashton keeps going, it's not me. But because I think his socials is what I ended up having.
Yeah, and by the way, listen, to Ashton's credit, and I love this dude so much, like he was such a juggernaut in Web 2. I understand the subconscious bias. There's obviously male-female subconscious, but there's a lot of dynamics there.
Yeah.
But you are dramatically more talented than I am.
No, I'm not. But I'll tell you.
He is brilliant.
I have use of his Rolodex. And so there is a benefit to, that, like when I'm like, I need a CEO,
of course.
There's a
Herm, I see you going through notes. Kalish, what questions do you guys have for the incredible Mila Kunis?
I want to hear about the kind of origin story. Like, how'd you come up with the creative concept?
I didn't. It came to us. So we have a regular production company that produces content for film and television. And so we get pitch projects all the time. We had Stoner Cats as a normal, regular TV show that we took out with Jane Fonda at the time. And then we sold it. And then we couldn't make it. And that's when I pivoted everything into what is now considered Web3. But when I pivoted, it was before Web3. To me, was had a category of Web3, and more was like, I was like, how do I utilize the concept of NFTs to associate? Like, I was just trying to, there was no rules, there was no definition in this community. So I was like, well, can I do A plus B? And AK was like, yeah, okay. So, then you get 1,000 lawyers to tell you every which way how you can and cannot do it. But the initial concept was just out of desperation.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how did you find bringing this concept to market relative to maybe like a more traditional
that's a whole
TV
other
show?
series. Let me tell you that, man. So there's two things you have to remember about the NFT community, right? It's very small, and the crypto community at large is very small. So you're dealing, like, you talk about OpenSea and the people that own NFTs. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but it's under 500,000 individual accounts, right? So and people have multiple accounts at that. So to be generous, let's say that there's 500,000 people consuming NFTs. That's it. So maybe like once Coinbase launches, once all these things happen, it'll become bigger and better and more people will join and all that. But right now it's a very small niche community. So doing press for it was really challenging because you had to, we were trying to like onboard newbies. That was my whole thing, was I was like, how do I bring in, like, I get the people that are like ride or die crypto, that have been with the NFT community. I was like, I can't take them because they were so against everything commercial on face value. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately they wanted it, but on face value, they're like, you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, I'm going to bring in newbies. And so it was explaining how to open up a wallet. Like, that's kind of where we started. Like, forget doing press for like, watch Stoner Cats. We were like, okay, go to MetaMask. Here's how you open up a wallet. You put in some, ETH into it. Then you go to like connect your wallet. We did a whole idea of tutorials became more of a thing that we did, because I think people were just like, what is NFTs? What is Web3? What's a token? How are you not going to steal my money? What's a smart contract? What's a roadmap? Like, there are these certain words that now are so in the vernacular that everybody says no big deal. But 9-10 months ago, it was like you had to do a dictionary.
100%.
Yeah.
So it was actually really fun, I will say. But we learned a lot. We learned.
What about the incredible voice talent that you've been able to acquire on this project? I feel like we've had some breakout performances.
Oh yes, from the infamous raccoon.
I would say the raccoon is probably completely stolen the show.
You were so sweet for doing it, Gary. I ended up, this was also like, so Jane Fonda.
What do you mean sweet? I thought I'm expecting to win an award.
Sure.
I think
NFT animation.
What do I mean, Herm? I'm the voice behind the raccoon in the show, and I got to tell you, I think I'm gonna win an Academy Award. I think I've decided that I might be one of the great voice actors of our generation, and have found a new place for it myself.
Mila, what do you think about that?
Hollywood is buzzing.
Gary,
Hollywood is buzzing,
right.
Kalish.
Gary was genuinely great. The whole idea behind it, the way that it all landed, was you're supposed to have fun. And like, what great time I can actually call Gary and have a friend come on. I don't have to go through a casting director. I don't have to go through a rigmarole. I can just call people that I think would have fun being a part of this community. Because explaining this community was a shit show 12 months ago.
You know what I just took away from that? When Mila just delivered that sentence, my brain went, you got ripped off.
Gary, let's change the subject, guys. Let's change the subject. Let's move on before Gary catches on.
What about Mila the collector? Have you bought? Kalish is a degenerate, so he can speak to this. But have you started to collect a little bit?
Collect. I mean, yeah, I have like maybe 12, 15. I mean, I'm not
that's solid.
The 50. My partner Maria has like hundreds, thousands of, so many. She's very much our. I think Maria. Yep. She's a collector. That's what I call a collector. Yeah. She's
Taylor?
like her own gallery.
Yeah, it's an adventure. First, the onboarding thing really resonates. I bet between the four of us, we've probably onboarded, over 100 people to crypto in the last 1 year.
That was the most disrespectful statement of all time. Do you know how many people I onboarded to MetaMask alone pre-web? I mean,
are you talking about through social reach or just?
I see. You're saying personally. Yes, I would say the four of us have definitely put hundreds on personally, with Herm putting none on, and the three of us putting on hundreds.
Yeah, I'm talking about like I bought you a ledger on Amazon, and then I set it up with you, and I helped you fund your money and stuff.
I think we're pretty much dominating that. I think Mila probably did, a couple of handfuls, maybe five. Herm's done zero. Herm's brought maybe his one buddy Baker, but other than he doesn't even know that many people.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's hard. And I think the mainstream accessibility to just buy is the hardest thing. I remember Gary sent me a link to CryptoPunks in February 2011, or no, February 2011.
I was like, whoa, Gary.
Yeah, 2021. And it took me a month just to get my stuff like set up and funded to buy it. Like if I could put it on a credit card, I'm doing it, but you can't. So it's like,
I mean, you can do on ramp now, but now you can. All this stuff is all going to change. I think it's all going to become so much easier with these.
Of course it is. It's early technology. To your point earlier, 500,000 being gracious. There's almost 8 billion people on Earth. Like we are in very early stages of this technology, and we're also in the collectible with a hint of utility stage. One of the reasons I bought Stoner Cats, besides my admiration for the global superstar. It is real talk. You had real utility. The biggest thing everybody's gonna have a game. Everyone's gonna have a show. Everyone's gonna have merch. Are you capable? Like Lisa was as big of a factor for me as you were, because I'm like, this is a real production company, and God forbid, with actual relationships, with actual leverage in Hollywood, God forbid this gets off to a good start. It gets mass distribution. This is like a real opportunity. I still feel that way about Stoner.
It just takes a minute.
Correct.
But yes,
it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, we're doing gimmicks. We're coming out with gimmicks in a couple of weeks, which is our next animated series. And that one, if you have a Stoner Cat token, you have early access to it. There's like that, there's an aspect of it.
Actually, I don't know about this, and I want to hear about it. If you have a Stoner Cat, since I do, several, what happens with gimmicks? It's going to be a free drop.
So gimmicks is going to be free. Gimmicks, you're going to get the NFT is like a wrestling card, almost like a tradable card of different factions in the wrestling community. And and you can trade them, you can collect them. It's the same concept. And then there's a thing on it that's called dick punches.
Oh, excuse me? Gary's favorite.
Mila,
let's clip that, please. Clip it.
Mila, you've said, what is going on? What's wrong with you, Mila?
All right, Mila, let's say that with a straight face.
Mila, you've said way crazier films than dick punches.
Because you know why? Wait, hold on, Gary. I'll tell you exactly why. You'd have to have now crypto lawyers doing all this stuff to make sure that everything is.
Yep.
And so we had to get and crypto lawyers are very serious lawyers, serious lawyers. And the amount of times we've had to get them to say dick punches. So anytime I see it, I think of my sweet little lawyer Stu being like, dick punches are okay. No, dick punches are clear. Dick punches are like the idea. And I was like, how's that Harvard education treating you now? Because all they're saying, dick punches? Yes, the dick punches are fine. Yeah, we can dick punch. That's not a problem.
I wrestled Herm at the Super Bowl weekend party. Herm, I actually feel like you felt the power and realized.
Of a dick punch?
Well, I didn't dick punch him yet, but I feel like I want to. And number two, my favorite part was I could see the fear in his eyes that he realized when I told him that we would fight and I would win 4 episodes ago. I think, Herm, you accepted that more during Super Bowl week.
Yeah,
True or false?
It's not a secret. You're deceptively athletic.
Thank you.
Facts. Can we talk about other? Can we talk about? I have two questions.
I do.
I have to. Well, I like the clip of just it throwing Gary off. We're gonna clip that and use it. How can we talk about the pressure? Like you have this, you launch a project, people are spending real money against it. Like understand, Gary's POV on it with V friends, but like, how are you feeling in terms of, holy shit, I have a community that spends their like hard-earned money on this, and the pressure you have to just maintain it?
I mean, I wouldn't, you know what? It's such a weird question because I don't want to say I don't feel the pressure because it's not about feeling the pressure or not. I love what I do and I don't plan on not doing what I do. And I produce content. And so to me, it's more, I'm really grateful that I have an outlet to put my content in versus feeling pressure to appease them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I
just crush that answer.
Content. Huh?
Yeah, crush the answer. Got it. Okay.
But
it's the right answer.
But yeah, I love it. Like I'm, you know, it's just the truth. Like everybody in the entertainment industry just wants to create. But everybody's you have to first sell, that do this. There's so many steps before a project gets to be made. I can circumvent all of that. We partnered up with Toonstar. Toonstar can turn around a show in a week. And so we have a weekly episodic show that we can now release where our fans or whatever, the community can choose the end. So it's choose your own adventure at the end of every episode. It's really interactive and nothing will make me happy than having a community that feels like they're a part of something, like we all want to feel like we're a part of something. And I really, as cheesy it is, want to make our community feel like they're a part of something awesome and great and be supportive and be supported. I don't want us to feel like a community where it's like one against the other. Like we're not CryptoPunks versus Bored Apes. That's not what I want to be.
It's insane to me that people don't realize the world is abundant. LVMH is $1 trillion business, and Kith is moonwalking, and Yeezys are moonwalking, and Gucci is like it's insane that people think it's a verse thing. It's such a fascinating human trait.
Exactly. And so for our community, all I want to do is allow them to all feel like they're a part of a community without a verses.
There is a ton
of that. I disagree with you, Gary, man.
Well,
I was blinded by how
I'm the voice of the raccoon.
I know, but you're sweet and kind and awesome. And you're not
clip that, Herm. Clip that in your mouth.
Unclipped.
Mm-hmm. Unclipped. You're erased from history. Never to be clipped.
Mila, I do think, to your point, there was I felt it there, and I'm nowhere close to you. There's a level of cynicism when somebody comes from that place, but the overall community, there's a ton of it. The problem right now is a year later, we are in greed city, USA in NFT land.
I know.
Scams out the ass.
Yes.
Projects are dog just trying to make money in 2 seconds and see ya.
And that's what I don't want to be. And I keep telling people,
you won't be. That goes back to how we started. You won't be.
I don't think so. But I also want to be really clear to people. I was like, do it because it's fun. Do it because you want to be a part of a community. Don't do it because there's like an earning mechanism to don't do that. You will lose. You just will. You'll ultimately lose in any aspect if you're going in to make a buck. You will. I don't believe
the buck. You can only win that game if you have an incredible balance of selfish and selflessness. To your point, if you are only coming into something with selfish intent, make a buck the way you're saying it, you're 1,000% right.
Yeah.
I believe the nuance there is it's incredibly okay. Hence why so many people are driven to it, to do things from a selfish success standpoint. And by the way, money's not always it. You just very articulately explained the process of success for a deeply creative person, which is to make, I'm wildly creative. It's why I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Be Friends for me is a singular at bat to try to build Disney. And that's obnoxious. That's an obnoxious, when I say it and I get DMs sometimes, literally DM, people are fascinating. You think you're Walt Disney? And I literally reply, because I'm a maniac. And I reply and say things like, no, I'm trying to be that. I'm going to enjoy the process of trying. And then I get a little nasty sometimes if I'm pissed. And I go, P.S. when your granddaughter is wearing a Patient Panda backpack in 52 years, you're required to send me the photo.
Good for you.
Because that's the truth.
But good for you. But you didn't go into this with any intent other than let's just have fun.
No, I went into the intent of this is going to change the world. I am going to win selfish and selflessly. I mean it. I'm going to build a very big business, and I'm going to create characters that are going to get the children at 6 years old. Accountable aunt. I met with a woman who was a right-hand partner to Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm.
This is an incredible woman. We had a great meeting. I'm having Hollywood-like meetings these days around creative. And she gave me one of the 5 best compliments of my life. She said, after I did my whole fucking 14 minutes Gary Vee life spiel, she said, I came into this meeting with no interest other than doing the right thing for the person that introduced us. And I felt like I owed it to take the meeting.
Okay.
She's like, you're a business. Like, she's a full on creative, right? She's like, I cannot believe what you just talked about. And she goes, the only time I've ever felt like this before in my life was talking with Jim Henson. And it made me proud and happy because it's the truth. Jim Henson was a massive entrepreneur, but do you know that Jim Henson created Fraggle Rock to stop war? Ironically, in this timing with what's going on in our birthlands, right? Yeah. He literally created Fraggle. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Fraggle Rock's framework. Yeah, like I literally am now going to watch the original season of Fraggle Rock. Yep.
Down in Fraggle Rock. I used to love Fraggle Rock.
But I believe, like, V Friends for me, the reason Patient Panda and Empathy Elephant are so Buzz Lightyear and Woody for me is like, I believe if I can teach people through, I've tried to do it through Gary Vee, but I'm a very narrow vessel. A lot of people love me way more like this. With V Friends, I can change the world through those characters.
Okay. Gary, I love you. I hope that nothing makes me happier. I can't wait for my Gary Vee backpack shit swag. I'll be in your first animated movie.
Oh, your kids are, why do you think I gave you the voice for the raccoon? Your little kids are gonna be super famous and gonna only wear V Friends clothes from 2nd to 9th grade.
Okay, they're in.
Freshman year is gonna be real weird. All right, on that transition, can we talk about some other projects? Like what's cool about Stoner Cats is honestly the price point right now.
I'm actually like, literally, I just texted, like, I'm literally doing homework while we're talking on Stoner Cats because I'm like very attracted to the price point. I'm like, if I'm getting one of these shows that Mila and Lisa are going to make is going to be a smash hit. And if I'm getting it airdropped because the Stoner Cat is the alpha, there's something really there.
Yeah. So can we talk about some other projects? What are some other projects where you're into, excited about, know the founders and the small community? Give us some others.
Not our own. Subducks, I think.
Yeah, not yours.
Like, Subducks is something that we're super interested in and been talking to.
Oh, Frankie's my guy.
Frankie's dope. He's great. We had a really fun a chat with Frankie not that long ago. He's awesome. And so we're trying to figure out something there with them. And then, well, I'll tell you, BFF I think is fantastic. Okay. BFF, do you know Britt Morin, Gary?
Do I know Britt Morin? Ask who the first person to write an angel investment check into Brit.co a decade ago was. Okay. Just ask.
So Britt and I have become girlfriends of the past 10 years. And Britt started a thing called BFF, where it's a tokenized social network site for women. And you get a BFF bracelet, and that's your token to have access to what will be, think, a way better, cooler version of Friends with Benefits, and way less like, money laundering, and like way more transparency, and it's accessible and it's free and it's awesome. And so that I'm really, really, really proud of. I think Britt's doing it, and then there's like, a handful. It's a really nice, big, large community she's building out. And when the first conference that she did, or, Q&A, whatever you want to call it, had like 20,000 people watching it.
That's awesome.
And I think for us, it's about bringing women into this industry.
Yes.
And having women set the rules for Web3 instead of fighting the rules that were set for them 10 years from now. So that's something that I'm really excited about, is the idea of BFF. And then I would say, what other things am I cool at? I think World of Women's always going to be something that I think is really great.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Constance brought up here a lot. All right, I have a quick question for the people. They're asking this question, I'm sure. When there's a lot of scams,
guys. Proof of Dave, I think is funny. Okay, go ahead.
Proof of Dave. Okay, there's a lot of scams going on. I mean, if you're just based on this, you can scroll through Instagram and see epic scams of Gary minted X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
But for example, I look up BFF friendship bracelets and I don't see the blue check mark. How do you know if it's the right one you're buying? Like, people are going to listen to this and look it up.
I have to tell you, this is when I call Maria. And I'm like, Maria, am I buying a fraud? This happened. I went to buy something. I don't even know what it was. And I looked at it and I was like, I It didn't have a blue check mark, but it didn't have a blue check mark because it was just new and it hadn't sold the 10,000 units. And so it wasn't for anything other than it takes a minute to get a blue check mark. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And I literally panicked and I called Mario and I was like, I'm gonna screen share and you tell me if I'm buying a fraud or if I'm not buying a fraud. So I don't have an answer for you. Find a friend who's smarter than you and then have them help you.
Matt, well, that friend is Matt. Matt, how do you do that?
Agree with like, be careful. Like, don't just click first and then ask questions later. You gotta like do your research a little bit.
It's too good to be true.
Find the official
usually
Discord.
There's like an official. Okay, Gary.
No, you got it, brother.
Yeah, usually there's an official Twitter that has the links. That's a good starting point. You can jump into the Discord and ask questions. The worst thing to do is just buy it and then like, oh, I got scammed. That happens all the time. People get in a rush. They want to just like jump in the game, buy something they think's cool. I can't tell you how many times. It's like every day you see this story on social. It's like somebody clicked on a phishing link. They clicked on some kind of, scam link.
I think that's the whole problem with Discord a little bit is the fact that Discord's got a lot of phishing links. You know what
I mean, I'm on the record saying don't click a single link on Discord.
Me too. I'm on the record. Don't click a single link on Discord. Because I've heard of people clicking things and then, get wiped.
Yeah, especially the DMs are the word. Every DM you get is probably a scam. It's going to be like free giveaway, join the whitelist, airdrop, whatever free thing.
But I will say, here's where we have a problem is for us, our next drop is free. And so we're like, please don't think that this is a scam. We really are just going to drop you for free. So there's like some people do want to have, I don't know. What a weird time we're living in. I don't know.
All right. I think
Gary often says it, right?
We're wrapping
up. Do your
up.
own research. Spend the 1 hour
100%.
to look into it. Like,
and here's the big wrap up.
Yeah,
it's big news. We're giving away a Stoner Cat NFT on our Twitter. Props and Drops Twitter. We've given away amazing NFTs, and this week Stoner Cat NFT. Mila, any thoughts before we wrap?
I have to go. I'm live somewhere now. So Mila, I love you. I gotta go. You boys finish it up. Mila, I love you. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Mila, anything for our audience as we wrap?
Gosh, I don't even know where to begin.
I had like a whole
soliloquy I was about to start like reading off. Wouldn't that be amazing? Let's talk about Gary. I don't have anything. I'm so excited to be a part of this community. I called Gary when this all started and I was like, is this a mistake? Like, did I fuck up?
Yeah.
Because it's but then I look at it and I'm like, it's so in its early infancy. Like, it's crazy. And then I tell people, I was like, where we were 9 months ago to where we are today to where we're going to be in 2 years, there is no pattern recognition here. Like the rules are just being written. The entire environment is just being built out. It's such a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I've noticed a lot of the same, being part of a public company is kind of the same as NFT land, where there's so much pressure coming from this like pocket of the world that's going to try to push you to short-term focus.
Yeah.
And you have a long-term vision. And the true believers, the people that want to buy, hold, support the project long-term, they really like understand what's going on. I think they're finding projects like yours, like VeeFriends, that have the long-term plan. And it can be hard to shut out like some of the short-term focus noise on social and stuff. And so good for you on just kind of keeping your head down and working through, these first 6-8 months in a really early new space.
I appreciate it. I think that you nailed it. I want people to realize that not all things are not created equal, and that NFTs in general are not cookie cutter projects where everything's exactly the same and will function exactly the same, and the way that everything's distributed is exactly the same. There's many utilities to an NFT, and there's many different ways to interpret an NFT. And I think what I'm most proud of, or the idea, it's not a one and drop. Like, it's not like we were like, and here's something and then bye, right? And like you leave the Discord and you leave the community and you're like, figure itself out. We do want to figure out what Web3 for entertainment, what Web3 for content looks like in general. Like, how do you monetize content off of Web3? Like, that whole thing, it's just such a, you kind of stick spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks a little bit.
Yep.
So I'm excited. And I don't have
thank you so much for joining us for the pod. This was great.
Nice guys, this was so fun. Okay.
And great meeting you. And honestly, I think the last 2 minutes of this was the best part of the whole podcast. So thank you.
It's because Gary wasn't on there.
That's exactly right.
Thank
you, Mila.
We'll see you around. Good luck to the Lakers. Have you been catching a lot of games this season? Have you been able to make?
No, I usually go to like I'm a little bit. I like baseball. I mean, I love any sport live. I should be really clear. Anything.
More Dodgers, yeah.
But I'm more Dodgers, yeah. But I went to NASCAR for the first time.
You went to Daytona 500?
Nope.
Or no, the one in LA at
the Coliseum, which is like epic? Oh my God, it was almost like a cartoon because it's so small. The Coliseum is tiny. And so these cars like, slow down. Like you can only go so fast. And so you were watching them like, it was a little funny, but my kids loved it. Oh my God, did my kids love watching cars go in a circle.
I've never been, but that feels so America, and a lot of mesh shirts.
Yeah. It was shirts, very like America. Lots of beer.
Heavy beers.
No. Bud Light, Coors Light, all light beers. Wow. No, not heavy beer. No, American light beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been to NASCAR in New Hampshire, so I know what's up there. There's also like F1 Miami in May. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh, have we? This is
going to F1 Miami.
Are you doing
That'll be like,
how can you not?
I will be there, supporting whatever, because like very new to F1. I got into it through Netflix. It shows you the power of content.
Because you watched F1, the series. Yeah, sure.
To Survive. Yeah. And so I got obsessed with that, and then I started following it because the content,
It's I mean, we can talk about this for hours, but I only started caring about football, no offense, when I started watching Hard Knocks. And it was like, every season was a different team. And so talk about I was like, oh my God, I hope that the Bengals win. Oh my God, I hope the Browns win. Whatever team was showcased that year, I was like, my heart broke for those players. So my husband was like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's powerful, it gets you deeper when you get that inside look. It was like Dallas Cowboys this year with Dak Prescott.
I saw.
Yeah, I remember he got
their families. Oh my God, it's everything about it. You're like, oh my, like that kid, the rookie that comes in, that you're like, it's got some amazing backstory somehow. Oh man, I fell in love with everybody in that show. Please, sucker.
We love it. Well, best of luck. Hope to see you around soon.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take care.